What's going on, everybody? 4x4 camping and adventures. So you can see the back of my tray. It's all been pulled out. I've done obviously the full strip out of the tray liner, so I'll just go sell that and hopefully make a little bit of money back. But at the moment it's all sort of prep work, so just trying to organise everything and work out where I sort of want to put everything. So this is obviously battery boxes. I've got 2 of those. They're going to go here. I'm not sure if we're going to have one like this yet or whatever, but this is going to be a video that takes you all the way through from start to finish of the whole tray setup. So enjoy. So this is essentially what I'm thinking, guys. 2 batteries, obviously compressor. I'm not going to use the thumper because that's the broken one. Just using a bit of a template at the moment, and obviously the power coming through this grommet here into the 2 batteries. And then there, obviously, one of these is going to power all my 12-volt gear and obviously recharging everything, and one that's going to charge up the fridge. So that's roughly what I'm looking at in the back at the moment. So I'll get all these mounted up and get some things working so I can have it going on solar and all that good stuff. So these 2 batteries are going to be mounted together. I've got, went to Super Cheap and bought these. So just to mount them and join them together, obviously. So because yeah, I want to have these pretty much in parallel, which is going to be I think between these 2 batteries about 200 amp hours, and then obviously in the tray, sorry, in the bonnet, under the bonnet I should say, I have 180 amp hours. So roughly altogether it's about 400 roughly. So yeah, we'll keep going and I'll keep posting on what's going on. Alright, so first bit's done. Put the batteries together, positive, positive, negative, negative. And obviously connected up this unit here, which I can actually do a couple of things. I can actually check the battery, how much charge is in an actual battery, just a quick gauge, it's just LEDs. At the moment, obviously these 2 together worked out to be something like 190 amp hours. Obviously that's going to give me plenty of juice for the fridge. And at the moment it's coming off the regulator. So essentially from the regulator it's going to the solar panel via here, and obviously this will be all tidied up. It's going into the roof, and then obviously the solar panel is charging both batteries as well. So the idea is the solar panel is going to charge both batteries, and obviously that's going to keep the Waco, or in this case the Ridge Rider Evercool, all topped up with power. So first section's done. Looks pretty good, I reckon. And yeah, let's move on to the next step. There we go, guys. So ready to rock and roll, all tied in. Had to put a bit of a screw here just to keep this down because it wouldn't go down. This is all strapped down now, ready to rock and roll, but looks pretty damn neat and tidy. Pretty happy with it actually. And obviously I can just connect things like these are obviously all just screw off, and yeah, I can obviously run things like, you know, the compressor and that kind of thing directly off this. Don't have to hardwire it in, which makes life a lot easier. Alright, so what we got here is essentially inline fuse, which I'm going to put probably about 30 amp fuse in there. Inline fuse holder. Now the reason you want to use an inline fuse holder is now this connection with the Anderson plug on the other end of it is actually going to be running from these connections up here. Now if you've got no fuse in between here and here, between here and the fridge, and you get a spike, yeah, say goodbye to your 4B, because you'll probably end up starting a fire, and once these guys catch on fire, that's pretty much it. So one thing I can recommend with all electrical wiring is fuse everything. These can be bought pretty cheap. I think this one was like $8 from I think it was Super Cheap. And yeah, just obviously make sure you fuse every single piece of your electrical system. Alright everybody, next step. So this was already a connection that I had off the previous, and it looks like the Waco and the Evercool use a similar connection, so I can actually reuse my whole setup, which is obviously my chain setup, which goes in and out as the fridge goes. Now, the reason you're asking yourself is probably why am I using an Anderson plug. Now, it's pretty well common knowledge now that when you use these guys here, which is just a standard plug that comes with your Waco or your Evercool, just plugs in and you're ready to go. This side here, if you're going over corrugations, that kind of thing, can jump around in the socket and eventually come out. Now, problem is, unless you've got Waco's Wi-Fi fridge monitor or something else of that nature letting you know that your fridge is running at optimum temperature, you're not going to know until you get there. And then the problem you got there is your beer's going to be cold, and no one wants that. So next step I've mounted the slide. Now I'm getting some drawers for the car, so I'm putting the slide in for now because I want to use it. I actually want to test it out, so I want to give it a bit of a run. So I've mounted it up. At the moment it's just sort of a temporary mounting, but mounted up nonetheless. So here we go here. And it's a pretty good little setup. Now the cool thing about this, let's lock that in place. If you spin this dial here, it actually spins this here. And that is that thing I was telling you about adjusting your fridge to suit the slide. So I think that is pretty damn cool with the fact that it can be adjusted to suit any fridge. So that's what the tray is looking like so far. I've obviously got to mount up the compressor, and once I've done that, I'll hard mount that, and then I'm going to run the cabling and that kind of thing. One thing when you're mounting up things such as slides and that kind of thing in a ute, you got this bar here. Don't think you can bring it all the way out to here. Close your tray and make sure it obviously isn't going to hit. Now I've got a bee's dick because I wanted to bring it literally as close as possible, just so I can utilise the whole slide. But yeah, just make sure you don't get caught out with this door hanging onto this. So that's a little tip I can give you from the previous one that I did, and I balls it up and went way too close. And that's it. So 190 amp hours right there. We'll have the fridge on here. I'll put that in later, and mount up the compressor, and we're starting to get somewhere.